Hey, what's going on, guys? I've been trying for the last several days to try to make a video, and it seems every single time I get home from work after the gym, I'm just too tired, I don't have time, or I have the time, I don't have the energy, and it's just been like I think I start every single video saying, "Oh, it's been a long time since I made one." I've been really busy, but it never ends. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how anyone does YouTube and has another full-time job because I barely have time to make a video like once a week, not counting my video game stuff, but so I'm looking at the news last several days, if not like the last week, try to find something interesting to talk about, and literally all of it is just complete dumb shit. If I hear the word Mueller or Comey one more time, I'm gonna blow my brains out because all of that shit, the whole Russia hacking, I've already done like 3 videos on this. Russia hacking, them suing the RNC and all this shit, it's all complete horseshit. It's all play. There's literally nothing of substance about any of this. This is why I'm not going to talk about it. Other YouTubers talked about it. There's no point in me just saying the same things again. They already did it better. It's all bullshit. It's all just complete nonsense because they're just sore losers. So we're going to get on to something that's not news related at all. And you hear this constantly when talking about the job market or different generations. You constantly hear, usually older people, in like their 40s on up, or like baby boomers, you usually hear them getting on to millennials or younger people. I don't think, yeah, like Gen Z, I think they're called, get on to them when they're living with their parents in their 20s. So I guess that's just millennials. Gen Z is not in their 20s yet. But this is what I want to focus on. The constant insults and degrading comments that you see on the internet talking about any of these subjects, that older people constantly insult people in their 20s that live with their parents, think they're lazy, they're stupid, particularly if they're lazy. They could easily move out of their parents' house and survive on their own. It's just they're just too lazy. They're just too stupid. They're just self-entitled brats. Like, people constantly call our generation the generation of entitlements. Oh, like you've never seen an entitled 6-year-old woman before? Give me a fucking break. Come on. Every single generation insults the generation after it as being, oh, those rotten kids are just so lazy, they're ruining this country with the rock and roll and their drugs. Like, the things they insult them for, the rock and roll and drugs, that changes every single generation, but every single generation does that. My grandparents' generation insulted my parents' generation for doing all this crap shit, and that, oh, they're ruining this country, they're lazy, they're stupid. And guess what? Lots of baby boomers turned out just perfectly fine. All of them are assholes, but that's beside the point. And now the baby boomers are doing the same thing to millennials, saying how we're lazy, we're ruining this country, when I'm amazed that we are responsible for the policies enacted by this country before we even allowed to vote, but that's just out of the point. It's a whole other subject matter. But you hear this is nothing new. This is the people doing, like, literally Adam and Eve probably got onto their kids. Oh, actually they did, because one killed the other. But every single generation has criticized the one after it. And then the current generation being criticized, thinking that they are doing nothing wrong. So there's a couple of things wrong with all this. The problem is, each generation has literally millions and millions of people in every single generation. I can't believe how I explain this to people, but these generalizations of generations is really fucking annoying because it's almost impossible. You can say, like, what a good chunk of them, not even the majority, but like 40% of them do. Generations tend to do certain things. But to look at a millennial and to assume that he or she is a certain type because a good chunk of millennials stereotypically are, it's prejudice. You are prejudging someone before you even have any idea about anything about them. You just know their age. You're like, oh, he's probably a self-entitled narcissist. Like, yeah, good percentage chance that he or she is. There are a lot of narcissists of every single generation. There are a lot of narcissists in their 20s. I will give you that. So let's 30%. I don't know. So when you look at millennials, a 30% chance he's a self-entitled asshole. Okay, there's also a 70% chance that he's not. So why would you prejudge someone? Why would you not give someone a chance? Why would you think that all millennials are this way when you know that there's not? They're millennials of every single type of disposition. They're millennials who work their fucking asses off every single day in shitty jobs so they can put gas in the tank and put food on the table. Millions of them do that all the time. There are also millions of others who are the stereotypes that you think about millennials. They're self-entitled narcissists who were spoiled rotten as kids, and they come in the adult world and think that everything else would just be as easy as childhood. It's like, no, it's fucking not, man. It actually is really fucking hard, especially when don't have money. So yeah, I'll give the baby boomers that. Yeah, there are a lot of narcissists in my generation, at my age, in their 20s. They're complete fucking assholes. I actually don't get along with a lot of people my age. I actually get along with a lot of people that are older than me, partly because of this problem, is that lots of people my age have not encountered serious life problems or serious stresses in their lives. Their biggest stress is, oh, I didn't get the dorm with my best friend. I got it with some other random guy. Oh, my world is ending. Like, that's their idea of a traumatic event. And when you're someone who's gone through actual traumatic events, your personality, your disposition, your outlook on life is so radically different than them, you really can't relate. I feel I can't relate to a lot of people my age. I can relate to a lot of older people who have lived longer and therefore had more likelihood of going through events that, you know, make you an adult and make you grow up in order to deal with them. That's kind of a sidetrack, but generation thing. So basically, I hate getting lumped in with other millennials just because I happen to be born in this generation when I literally have almost none of the stereotypes that you think about millennials. And if I know I don't, and I know a lot of other millennials who don't. So it's just like, what is the point of these generalizations? What are the points of these insults in saying all these things that you think everyone of generation is? There's literally no point because you're going to get it wrong a lot of the time. But do I go around thinking that, oh, since I met a lot of baby boomers are complete retards, that means every single baby boomer is retarded? No, why would I do that? There's like literally no point in that. Because there are a lot of baby boomers that aren't, that are hardworking, they're smart, and they're not assholes. So that's the same thing. It's just like there are a big chunk of baby boomers that are self-entitled narcissists. There's a big chunk of baby boomers that are not. Same thing with my generation. There are a lot of millennials who are self-entitled narcissists. A lot of millennials who aren't. So basically all these generalizations mean absolutely nothing. It's just that a baby boomer encountering like their kids and their kid's friend, or maybe they work in a company with younger people and they constantly are around stupid, self-entitled, narcissistic millennials, and then they get into this hive mind, this clustered mind where they don't think rationally, and they're like, oh, all millennials must be this way. And then they hire a new millennial, like, oh, he must be a self-entitled narcissist because all the other millennials are that way. It's just like, that's no way of looking at the world. You're not going to get anything done. You're not going to be productive. You're prejudiced against people because of their age. Like, ageism is a legit thing. Lots of job applications and like rental applications, you can't discriminate people based on their age. Now, usually that is in reference to people being prejudiced against older people, thinking that, oh, they're in their 80s, they don't know how to work in computers, so I'm not going to hire them because they can't fucking figure it out. You know, but ageism can work the other way around too. Older people can look at younger people and say, oh, well, he doesn't know how to, he's not going to be a hard worker, he's going to be lazy, he's not going to have that old grits, that old elbow grease attitude when it comes to jobs. We're going to hire someone else, even though he's perfectly qualified. Actually, probably overqualified because we're the most educated generation in history, but that's the point in this country. So, oh, he has education experience. Oh, but he's young. Let me give it to someone else. That's ageism right there. You're not even giving the person a chance. So let's go back to the main point. One of the critiques that they constantly have generation. A lot of people in my generation live with their parents in their 20s, and people use it as an insult, thinking that we're lazy, or that we're stupid, or if only they just worked harder, then they wouldn't be in this situation. You know, for the record, this place, I rent this place. This is my place. I don't live with my parents anymore. But I did live with my parents for several years in my 20s because I couldn't find a full-time job. Any full-time job. I applied to work at 7-Eleven. Like, I don't care if I have a chance of getting shot. I need a full-time job. Didn't get that job, even though I have a college degree and worked in customer service for years. Or I applied to be a sewage worker. Because I just didn't care. I was so desperate for a job. It's like I didn't even get that job. People can't understand that some people have no criminal record, have diversified education and job experience, whatever. They have no criminal record. They still have trouble finding jobs because the job market is just so fucking goddamn shitty, especially for us younger people. And older people cannot understand that. Some of them have empathy and can understand to a certain extent that we face unique challenges in getting jobs and in being able to be self-sufficient more than previous generations, mostly because of the economy, but also other factors. I've met baby boomers that are completely understanding and didn't judge me and didn't think I was lazy, that I lived with my parents in my 20s, and they gave me a shot at working. And guess what? Side note, I'm really fucking good at my job, and the baby boomers that I work with will agree with me on that. It's just that the job market sucks. It's very fucking hard to find a job, especially when you have limited job experience because you're young. See, I live in the DC metro area. There are a lot of people A lot of professionals in the 30s, 40s, 50s who work for government contractors, work for the military, work for the federal government, whatever. You know, they have decades of experience doing these things, highly educated, highly specialized job skills. And I'm coming in here in my 20s with my bachelor's and, and a couple of internships, a couple of jobs here and there. We face such an uphill battle from the very beginning because of the location that I'm in. So that's another point. So one, lack of empathy. They don't understand the unique challenges that we face. And that there's some people who work their fucking asses off and do everything correctly because of other circumstances beyond their control. They still can't find a job, or maybe they're married and they have a kid, and then the husband turns out to be a complete fucking asshole, so the woman gets divorced, has to move back with her parents, because she can't find a full-time job just like that. Like shit like that. Like where there's circumstances beyond people's control that force them to live back with their parents, and then people think it's because they're just lazy. It's just like, bitch, I'd gladly switch places with you. You put yourself in my shoes, where I do everything right, where I got education, no criminal record, no drug record, specialized education, different fields that are in high demand. Job, I've been working since I was like 16. Still can't find a job, a full-time job with benefits that allow me to live my life. I work part-time the entire time. But it's just bitch, you have no idea how hard it is. And you have no idea how devastating it is to work years and years and years and finding a job, doing everything right and still not doing it. It's just fuck off with you're the narcissist. You'll call my generation narcissist. You're a fucking narcissist. So you have no empathy. You think because the job market happens to be good in your part of the country where you live in Dumbassville, USA, that it's good everywhere else. It's like, I can walk down the street and get a full-time job at a supermarket with health benefits. So why can't you do it, you lazy narcissist? It's like, well, that's great for you. That's great you live in a part of the country that you can do that. But guess what? The country is so radically different in different parts that sometimes it doesn't even seem like the same country, because almost everything, the culture, the job opportunity, standard of living, the amount of services available is so radically different. To think that anyone in any part of the country can just walk down the street and get a job at a supermarket with full-time job with health benefits that allows you to live on your own, that pays enough for you to live on your own, to assume that it's like that everywhere just because it's where you're at, that's just ignorance. There's just no other way to describe it. You're being fucking ignorant. And you haven't been in someone else's shoes where they can't do that. Or lived in the part of the country where you can't do that. They lived in a time where jobs were readily available, even if you didn't have a college degree. If you have a college degree, man, you're set for life. They grew up in this place, in this country that no longer exists, to be honest. It's so radically different. And they assume, why can't you do it? Well, good fucking question. I wish I knew. Otherwise, I'd fucking do it. Lastly, obviously, everyone in their lives have been in an unfair situation where you do everything right and it doesn't go your way, or something messes up beyond your control, like whether it's a school project or a relationship or something, I don't know. Like, everyone has the experiences. Why can't these people think outside the box for 2 seconds and think, maybe these unfair situations that I randomly encounter throughout my life, maybe this is that person's unfair situation they're dealing with, where they have the correct experience, education, no criminal record, they can pass a drug test, they have all these high demand skills, and they still can't find a job for one reason or another. Like there's a specific reason why every single time they apply for a job, they get beat out by someone else. Think maybe that's their unfair situation. I shouldn't judge them on it. Or when they say that they're trying their best, or they say, yeah, I applied to these jobs, I went to these job fairs, I talked to this person, whatever, I followed up, whatever, that they're actually trying. And to actually think outside the box and think, wow, people can actually try really hard, their best, and still fail. It's not their fucking fault. That's all it takes, is thinking outside the box for 2 seconds. Wow, I've encountered unfair situations in my life. Maybe this millennial is encountering unfair situations in their life. How is that outside the realm possibility? So that's all I'm saying. Older people, get the fuck off our backs, man. I would gladly change places with you and own our own house and have like 2 cars and be able to go on vacation every couple of months. I'd love to have your job, your life. Now, why don't you switch places with me, how I was just a couple of months ago? Living at home, have a beat up car, I can barely function, just working part-time, just barely scraping by, applying to hundreds and hundreds of jobs over the months. having internships, going back to college even after my bachelor's, and still not being able to find anything, and then have some old fat fuck call you a narcissist and a lazy fuck. You know, just like deal with that shit for years and years, and see why you're not jaded.